Hi guys, hi, how are you? I've just clocked my head on the stairs, so if I go a bit wonky during this whip and chat, oy vey, forgive me in advance. But hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time stumbling across my channel, I would love for you to stumble, stay and subscribe, and that's by hitting the little notification bell in that, oh geez, I've lost my orientation. That way, it's that way. I'm looking at the screen. It's that way. I think it's that way. Anyway, it's somewhere down there. I've already started losing my orientation. Oy vey. Love for you to be a part of my diamond painting world. And if you're coming back, hey, a thumbs up and welcome back. I am going to be finishing off one of my, well, the first special shape or special diamond painting that I had started, and I put a pin in it because I wanted to do a whip and chat by finishing it. So I don't want to waste any more time. I'm going to flip the camera around, get you situated on the table because you don't want to be looking at this anymore, okay? And before we do that, please let's throw some love out to those who have bought me a coffee on the, or a love heart on the Buy Me a Coffee, and to the Patreons who support the channel. Let's throw some love their way, and I am going to see you on the flip side. Come with me, guys. Come on. Okay, here we are. This is the canvas that I am working on. So I will link below where I got it from. Oh, it's on the side. There you go. Let me turn it around the right way. I thought it looked a bit weird. And you're probably wondering, why is there this plastic in the middle? Well, I've actually finished the outside. That's all done. And I left myself literally this section here, all this and this to share with you the final diamond and also a whip and chat. So what's a whip and chat, I hear you ask? A whip in chat. A whip is a work in progress. So this is a work in progress. That's what I'm going to be working on. Doesn't mean you have to be working. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you working on a cross stitch? Are you working on a diamond painting? Are you doing a jigsaw puzzle? Oh, and I've just turned my light pad on. Brushing your teeth? Are you sitting on the toilet? Are you game enough to be out there mowing your lawns and got AirPods or something on, listening at the same time? Are you driving somewhere? Tell me all the things. And I'm just going to basically chat. What else am I using? Let's get everything out of the way. This plastic container here, I just picked this up literally from my Aussie friends from the reject shop. The containers I am using are from Amazon. Okay, these are the ones that I've decided to use. Sadly, I only had 10 of this size, and I've just marked them with the numbers, and then I use the other 4 like that. So I'm just doing my thing that way. Now, I may or may not have put it in the thumbnail, but we've got my tray that I'm going to use that my offspring made for me on his 3D printer. And guess what? Yes, you heard it. Big Blue is making his debut. My BB pen. I think it goes without further explanation as to the pen. If you want to see the unboxing of this pen and have a bit of a hoot and a bit of a laugh, go back and watch my videos. I'll try and see if I can remember to put it there, or at least down in the description. It's the one with all the emojis of me, the laughing emojis, the unboxing of BB. But BB is making his debut. I was challenged to try and do a whip and chat with this pen, so I'm going to do that. Put my light pad on underneath. Oh, come on, Gracie. There it is. All right, so we're on the home stretch. Being that this is my first, even though I've shown you already some completed special diamond paintings on the channel at the end of some unboxings, this was my first one that I decided to do. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'll pick all the little ones, all the little crystals out, and then I'll finish up with the big ones. And there's been quite a lot of junk so far, and we'll get to that at the end there. But there's my bin. That's from Uniquely Yours Down Under. That's my trash bin, literally my little dumpster truck right here. And that's what I've collected so far, but we'll talk about that at the end. Okay, let us begin. Let us begin. I'm going to start with the ones that are on the outside. I'm liking these containers. I'm thinking to get more. When I bought these containers for review, they came in, I think, a set of 30. I can't remember the prices. 40, beg my pardon. There were 40 and 4 different shapes and sizes. I really like this one because you'll see as time goes on, you can pick straight out of there. And I've started using, this here is from Bev B Diamond Paints. I won that in one of her challenges. It's release paper to put down. There's a hair in there, get it off my canvas. So I've been getting used to using release papers to cover the canvas so that I can put my tray down. I don't know where all this hair's coming from. Goodness gracious. Speaking of hair, well, head more than anything. I just clocked my head so badly. Here we go, BB. BB, this is your first time. Do me proud. Do me proud. Come on, son. Get the job done. Alrighty. The grip is good. That's all I'm saying. The grip is good. Yes, I just clocked my head on the staircase behind me. And yes, this is a special diamond painting or whatever, but I multi-place, and this is a 7-placer. Where I can multi-place these babies, I will. Trust me, and it can be done. As you can see, it just takes a bit of practice, a bit of patience, and maneuverability of your pen to get it done. So yes, I can feel the throbbing in my head starting already. Literally, it is throbbing, and I should have, I didn't even think to stop and take some Panadol or anything like that for the pain. So we'll see how far we get before I have to stop. But it is starting to throb, and I can feel a nice egg coming through as well. Love that for me. Love that for me. So Sunday afternoon here in sunny Melbourne. It is beautiful and sunny. I'll probably do this, and I need to really, really go out and mow the lawns. I really, really need to go out and mow those lawns. They need a bit of shaving, let me just say. We were speaking about that on the live that I had this morning, and I was so lucky to have 2 friends of mine join me, and that was Abigail and Christopher. We had a bit of a hoot and a holler. It was pretty fun, and we were just discussing about mowing the lawns. Offspring number 1 still in bed. Hey, good life, huh? A good life. And offspring number 2 was at his girlfriend's last night and probably going to go visit his dad today, which is nice. And that's the weekend done and dusted. That just ate my wax. And that's the weekend done and dusted. I've got to put a couple of loads of washing on. Still ate my wax. Give me back my wax, you nasty piece of work. Should I zoom you in maybe? Do you want to be zoomed in? Can I zoom you in? But if I zoom you in, I've got to remember where you're at so that you can see what I'm doing. This canvas has been really fun to work on. Lots of variety of diamonds, easy to do, and the return for the effort spent on it has been really, really quick, which is nice, which has been really nice. And I'm looking forward to actually framing this one. I don't know if you remember, if you saw the unboxing of this, it actually reminds me of pillowcases that I had bought on my one and only trip to Malaysia, with the forethought that they would be used They would be the pillowcases. They were European pillowcases, so the really big ones, and they were beautiful colours. I think it was a red, a green, a gold, and a green, maybe, all with different sort of Malaysian embroidery on them. And the idea was that I wanted to frame them all up and have them as artwork. Well, it just didn't happen, and I'm no longer in possession of them anyway, so this can be sort of, I don't know, not my substitute. It's not a substitute. It's not a substitute. It's a just a kind of a memory of it, if that makes sense. So we had our live this morning. I've been doing some unboxings over the weekend, uploaded some videos, which has been good. Just pretty chilled, actually, pretty chilled. I haven't, we're still on work at home orders. I didn't get the news report from today to know whether or not we're still going to be in lockdown, but we shall see. We shall see. This might take longer than what I had anticipated for a whip and chat, so I may or may not fast forward it, or not fast forward, time lapse, but we'll see how far we get. So where are we today? August 15th, 16, I think. Again, I don't know if it's the clonk on the head or it's just because I'm really not certain. I think it's the 15th today. I think it's the 15th. And I know I've been reading and listening to a lot of people overseas, which still blows my mind, I've got to be honest, that they're starting their school year over there. Blows my mind, which kind of made me think of some school stories and school life. What was it like for Gracie in school? Some people not even on YouTube, but not a lot of people really know what it was like for me in school. I've sort of touched on it a little bit in previous whip and chats, but if you're new to my channel, actually I think the only time I've really spoken about it is when I did my first 1 hour whip and chat challenge way back in the day. I've got to take this jacket off. Whew. Oh, the flushes, yeah? Going from school talk to hot flushes. Yeah, welcome to my world. Oh my goodness. It's better. Yeah, so I went to school in a small country town. I went to a Catholic school in primary school, and I was the Italian fat kid, basically. Yep. And of course, along comes all the ridicule with that. But this is not a sad thing. This is, it is what it is. That's how I grew up. And you talk to people, and almost everyone's got their own version, their own story, their own experiences are almost exactly the same or very similar to. Kids are mean. It is what it is. And with my offspring, when they started going to school, having experienced what I did, I was even more super protective of them. At the same time, I always used to caution them that if they were the ones to start something or be bullying or teasing, they wouldn't have to worry about detention. Don't worry about it. No, don't. That's not what you have to worry about. Because let me tell you, son, you start something, or if you are a bully, you won't have the fear of the principal. You'll have the fear of me on your back, because I am not bringing you up to be any sort of way like that. And thank goodness, they really, really made me proud in their school years. And they were, sadly, the younger one was was bullied. But I stepped up and got him out of that super quick. But as far as my school life, yeah, it's funny. It's actually so funny. I'm sitting here telling you about my school life, and I'm remembering my first day at school. My very first day at school, got dropped off, and they had these pillars, because it was a 2-story school, and they had these pillars, and I remember running so frantically towards my classroom. It was maybe, I don't know, the middle of the day. We might have been going back from lunch. I don't recall the exact timing of it or whatever. And I wasn't obviously watching where I was going. Or someone called out to me. That's right. Someone called out to me, and so I turned around, but I kept running forward. Literally, it was like a car wreck. And what you see in the cartoons, because Gracie was running one way and collected one of those poles and sconned her bon, as we like to say here. I sconned my bon, in other words, smashed my head on one of those pillars, and I was down for the count. Day one. Day one, already in the, the sick bay, getting first aid, making sure that I didn't have concussion and everything. But I was so devastated, so embarrassed too, even at such a young age. But everyone was nice, parents were called. I've got so many stories of, oh my gosh, so many stories. So that was day one. And I remember also, now was this high school? No, it was still primary school. We used to have swimming lessons, and by the way, BB's doing a wonderful job. We used to have swimming classes, swimming lessons. We'd go to as a group to the local pools, and they would teach us all the swimming things. And back then, before they fixed and it was the public swimming pool, so a pool that's used by the public, and if that makes sense, it wasn't a school pool as such. I remember too, they'd make us it wouldn't happen today, no way. Tell me if it does, because I don't think it does, but they used to literally, back in those days, well, you can't see where I'm working, back in those days, you don't have to be seeing where I'm working if you're using this as a whip and chat, but anyway, just in case you are, back in those days, they used to make us get changed at school into our bathers or swimsuits, whatever you like to know them as. But they would have the boys at the front of the class and the girls at the back, or vice versa. Like, we were in primary school, yeah, young'uns. And yeah, that's how they did it back then. I highly doubt that's how they would do it now. Highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure, if nothing else, you would end up going to the toilets to get changed. Anywho, pardon me. We ended up going to the swimming pool, and this was grade 4 maybe? So in grade 4, so in prep year 5, in grade 1, 6, 2, 7, 8, 9. So I would have been 8 or 9 years old, if that. Okay, 8 or 9 years old. We were there, we were in the pool, and we were in the deep end of the pool, so we're all holding on to the edge of the pool, because obviously you can't touch the bottom, so we were holding on to the edge, listening to the instructor's instructions as to what we had to do and this and that. And I remember this kid this boy screamed out in pain because one of the tiles in the pool under the water was cracked. And because we were all hugging the wall, he sliced his knee on the, I'm chuckling, but he sliced his knee on the tile, cutting it open, gash, blood, everything. You know, that was it. Gracie here, right? Gracie, your Gracie, right here, of course, heard him yelp out in pain and was like, oh my gosh, I've got to go help, what's going on? And so she scooches across. And what do you think happened to Gracie at that point? What do you think happened to Gracie at that point? Yeah, as I scooched across hugging the wall, I then decide it's a good idea for me to slice my knee in exactly the same way. So here we have the poor teaching instructor who's got not one, but two of her students bleeding in the pool. And she has to get us both out. And again, there we go, marching to the first aid office. I'm pretty sure, honestly, I don't think I even got stitches, but it was a pretty meaty gash. It was, pretty nasty. I've still got, after all these years today, I've still got that scar on my knee. It's like a, what do you call it? Badge of honor. That's what I'm trying to think. It's like a badge of honor. Hilarious. Wasn't hilarious for me, of course, at the time, but anyway, it was hilarious enough. So, still back in primary school, we used to have to catch a bus, and I remember in the first week, primary school, now, catching the bus, I lived on a farm, and it might have even been the first day back home on the bus, to be honest. Might have been the first day back home. And I didn't know where I had to get off on the bus. And the buses back then were not like they are today, yeah. They were school designated buses. They weren't public buses. But still, I told the bus driver, yes, this is where I have to get off. And so he let me off, right? Well, no, not funny, because where he let me off was the stop before mine. Now, the stop before mine is not like bus stops that you find in suburban cities or towns. Bus stops can be miles apart or kilometres apart. And indeed, where I had told the bus driver to drop me off, okay, where I told the bus driver to drop me off, he did, and it was at the post office, which was a little old country post office, no longer there now, but he dropped me off there, which was a good, I think, 3 kilometres away from where he should have dropped me off. So here's little old 5-year-old me, first day at school. Now, I'm back there. Now, if I can find it, I'll share something special with you. If I can find it, I'll insert here. So you'll have to look at your screen from whatever you're doing. I'll insert it here. A photo of me on my first day at school. Gracie on her first day at school. Okay, how's that for a bit of sharing? And you'll see that I'm holding, so, I started school back in 1970 something, right? And I'm holding literally a suitcase, a little teeny tiny suitcase, which was my school bag. So you can imagine, and where I grew up, it was, we start school in the summer here, like in January and so on. So it's bleeding hot up in Swan Hill where I went to school. And full day I've already clocked my head off at, at school. Remember that on my first day? Yeah, I've already done that. And all of a sudden I've been left by the bus driver in a place that I knew to be the post office. I knew which direction to walk. And here I was, literally like a hobo, walking on my way home on a long, old country road. Not a car in sight. No one in sight at all. So, crying, scared, absolutely petrified of, like, because when you're that young, that sort of distance almost feels unsurmountable. It feels like you're never going to get home. And I was scared that I was going to get into trouble. I was petrified. That's what I was most worried about. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get into such trouble from my mum and my dad. I'm lost, and I'm going to... all the nasty thoughts were coming through. And then, lo and behold, of course, what had happened was my mum had been waiting at the bus stop for me, and when she saw that I wasn't getting off the bus, she obviously asked the bus driver about, where he dropped off the little girl that had the little brown suitcase. Little hobo that I must have looked like. And I had 2 piggy tails. Mum used to put my hair up in piggy tails. And so they were all dishevelled, and it was a hot, stinking day. And I was just a right old mess. Anyway, as I'm walking, Mum, I see in the distance Mum driving towards me. Back then she had a 1970 something, really gold. And I say gold, it was like this colour gold, right? A gold Holden Statesman. I see her burning up that road towards me, and she got out of the car, and I just collapsed in her arms, crying, apologising and everything. And she hugged me, she laughed, she was all the things, like she was laughing because I must have looked like a real mess. And when she tells the story, she tells it so much better than me. But I just looked like this tiny, teeny speck on the horizon as she was driving towards me. And she knew that it was me, but yeah, it was not fun. Not fun. What other memories have I got of school? Gosh, they jump all over the place, really. I remember my mum making traditional food, let's say, for me to take to school. And which is funny because she used to tell me how she used to go. She and my dad both migrated to Australia separately, but coincidentally at the age of 9 from Italy. And so she, ethnic-wise, she copped it worse than me as far as being teased for being Italian and the food that she used to get packed to take to school. Which is ironic because Mum kind of thought she was being groovy and doing the right thing and not being as heavy-handed with the ethnic food. But let me just tell you something, that greasy fried egg that's fried in the morning and thrown into big fat slices of bread wrapped in grease paper and then into a paper bag. Yeah, you know where that's going, right? You know where that's going. So, like I said, as much as she tried to not repeat history, it failed. It failed. Got teased for that one. Got teased for being fat. Got teased for being Italian. Yeah. I was, just teased. It was just anything that the kids could pick on, they did. Which is, it's made me not resent high school. Pardon me. It's not made me resent my primary school at all, or the people in it. Kids are kids, and I get it. But what it has shown me, that as an adult, it's given me the lessons that I needed. Obviously, you know, everything happens for a reason. And as torturous as it was growing up that way, it's made me into an adult that I feel within myself. I strive every day to be compassionate. I strive every day to be fair. I strive every day to be accepting of all, whether that be of race, of colour, of religion, all. You know, there is. I don't discriminate. I do not appreciate discrimination at all. Indeed, it's not welcome in my life, and given that this channel is part of my life, a very, you know, a pretty big part of it, it won't be tolerated. It won't be tolerated at all. Tolerate bullying and discrimination, and that's why I get passionate about it, because I've been there, I've done that, and this is not where it's, just won't be accepted. Period. Full stop. End of story. No more discussions entered into, and so on. Guys, my head's thumping. I don't know how much more I can do. I was hoping to get all this done. I might have to time lapse it. But heaps of stories. So what else was there that happened? So I've clocked my head, split my knee. I was a good kid at school. I was the one that always, you know, being the eldest at home, being the eldest of 4 children at home, I was used to towing the line, so I was very much the nerdy kid as well. So when the teasing got too much, I used to just hibernate and go to the library. And I actually made friends with the tuck shop lady. And if you don't know what a tuck shop is, let's say the cafeteria of the school, or the lady who used to prepare all the lunch orders. If you were lucky enough to have a lunch order, gosh, we used to think that was the bee's knees back then, to have a lunch order. Wow. And back then, things were nowhere near as expensive as they are today, but they were expensive for the day, if that makes sense. Inflation and all that good stuff. So yeah, I made friends with the tuck shop lady, and it eventually, the teachers saw too much of a pattern of this, me just sitting talking with a tuck shop lady and not talking with friends, that they got concerned for my social development, if I suppose, because I wasn't talking with any of the kids. I was just talking to the tuck shop lady. Literally, I would go seek her out even to the point where I started volunteering in there. And of course, again, things were different back then. There was none of this OH&S and needing qualifications. No, I used to get in there and pack the pies and sausage rolls and all the Boston buns. People my age listening, these things may resonate with you, especially if you're here in Australia. You know, put the sachets of sauce for everyone's meat pie. I'd get in there and do all the good stuff. And I would help her before school, recess time, and lunchtime. Literally, that was the better part of my mid-primary school years. Because no one wanted to associate with a fat Italian girl. Simple as that. But the teachers soon saw what was happening and they put a stop to it, and I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I couldn't understand why they were taking away my one and only friend. But I can see what they were doing now. You know, they basically forced the situation where, you know, I had to go seeking out others and forming friendships and so on. So I'm glad that in a way, and that's why I guess, when I'm on my channel and I say, they're not flippant words. They are not flippant words. They're not throwaway words without meaning. See, that's the thing. When I say things, they come from a place deep inside that there's a reason for them. Yeah. I've been in that lonely, dark place on my own before. So when I say on my channel, reach out to all of us on the community. If you talk with someone specifically and you form a friendship with a fellow subscriber, if you're a subscriber and not a creator, or if you're a creator and you've got people that you have formed friendships with on both, whether they be subscribers or creators themselves, whatever the case may be, reach out. Because, well, if you feel comfortable, that is. I know that if I offer that, I don't offer it lightly, because I know what it's like to be on the outside. I know what it's like to feel like no one understands. I know what it's like to feel like that you're in a place or in a space in your mind that you just don't think you'll ever get out of. And you might find yourself in a cycle where day in, day out, it just keeps, it's like a hamster wheel or Groundhog Day. Same thing. But if I say openly and loudly on the channel, reach out, I mean it. I did a shout out to somebody today who sent me an email, and after I finished this whip and chat, it was quite a very... the reason that I haven't responded immediately is because it's an email that was quite serious for this person. And if you're listening, I'm not going to say names because it's not my place to. But this person expressed how they were in a very dark place. And, that to me is, and when I say dark, very dark, like very, very dark. And a lot of us have been there. A lot of us have admitted, and some of us haven't, that we all have those moments. But to the person who wrote the email, they'll probably get the response before this gets uploaded anyway. The reason that I haven't responded straight away is that it deserves a lot lengthier and depth thought to your email. So I haven't done it, and I should have done it at the start, but there's been a few people that have bought me a coffee, and I was trying to bring up the comments of what these people have said when they've bought a coffee. Now, someone tell me, and it might need to be another creator who tells me, I am struggling to find the comments. And I'm going to have to try and find them. And if I can find them, I'll flash them up here along with who bought me a coffee and what they've said. And thank you so much. And I've sort of akin them to love hearts, and just, everyone's, I suppose, got their own tweaky way of what, some people have got, buy me a soda, buy me a this, buy me a that. But at the end of the day, it's through the buy me a coffee platform, if that's what you want to call it. I think that's done. And, yeah, so I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to those people. It's never expected, but so very appreciated. Well, I've got all the silver ones done. Yay! So there's that. Back to high school, or back to school, I should say. That was no better, really. No better. No better. I did make some really good friendships, but it was a really tough start. It was a really tough start to my high school years for the same reason. I was telling this story to a friend of mine the other day, that where I grew up, small country town, as I keep saying, and being that my parents are Italian heritage, they formed friendship obviously with other members of the Italian community back then. And I don't know if I've told this story or not, but anyway, I'll tell it again. And it is what it is. I'm just going to call it. Back then, it was a lot of the Italians who moved up into that area, into the community. They brought with them the old school Italian mentality from back in the villages in Italy. And when I'm talking back in the villages, I'm talking back in the 1950s, 1960s, old school village mentality, literally. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, so what I mean by that is that back in the day, it was believed by predominantly the Italian community that girls didn't require an education. Yeah. Why do girls need an education? They're only going to go off and get married and have babies, and what a waste of time and life and everything else. So what used to happen back then is all the girls, they would legally have to stay in school until 14 3/4 or 15 years old, I think it was, year 9, the equivalent of year 9, what we call year 9 here. And then they would be forced to leave school, and pretty much work on the farms. Most of them had vineyards up there, so, and they would be forced to work on the farms. So education, very minimal. Didn't mean they were stupid. Some of them were brilliant in academics, but they were not given a choice. So by the time, I guess, middle school, so that's year 9, so I'm 15 or so, the Italian friends that I had made all left, all gone. Because, and again, you got to remember, we lived on a farm. There was none of these mobile phones, no internet. Pretty much once they left school, I lost touch with them, because the farms could have been from one end of the city to the other, or town, one side of the town to the other, and 20 or 30 kilometres apart. So I pretty much then found a new group of friends, and I hold them all dearly to this day. And we found each other, all for very similar reasons, which is super cool. Super cool. There was a time, though, even in my high school years, that I was on my own in that in-between time of when all my Italian friends were made to leave school. I was kind of floating in no man's land. It was like, oh, what do I do now? I've just, a lot of them were people that I had left primary school with, and we went, to the same high school, so that it was a fluent and organic transition. That was good. And then all of a sudden, bang, the next year they were gone. It was a really, really, really tough time. First half of that middle school year, again, Gracie in the library. Yeah. But then made some really good friends. And pretty much all of them I still keep in touch with today. Now, I've taken myself off my personal Facebook, the one that I had all these contacts with. So when I say keep in touch, I guess I haven't really in the last few months. I've withdrawn from that platform for communication. Kind of figure if people want to get in touch with me, they'll find a way. They'll find a way, which is cool. I was talking to the creative Chris the other night, or my night, his morning, my night, I can't even remember. We're having a bit of a chat, and I said, I promised that one day I would tell a story about my all-time favourite teacher, who is Canadian, and bless his soul, saved my year 12. He was my year 12 chemistry teacher. I had him in my junior years for maths as well. And I will sing his praises till the end of days. He was Canadian and had the most gentlest but firmest way of teaching. Like some students were really frightened of him, because he could come across as very strict and rough and so on. But I'll never forget him. And I never did forget him. So during high school, I was struggling. He became my year 12 chemistry teacher. And back then I was aspiring to want to do pharmacy. Never got there, but anyway, it was always good to aspire to something. And I was doing chemistry and I was failing miserably. Like, I was just not getting it. I loved it so much. I was enjoying it, but I wasn't grasping some of the concepts and this and that and everything else, and struggling tremendously. And bless him, he would take time out of his lunch break and come and help tutor me. Because I said to him, I'm struggling and I need this to work. I need to pass and this and that. And I was terrified of not passing for fear of disappointing my parents as well, because they'd given me this grand opportunity to do my year 12 despite all of my dad's friends ridiculing him for allowing a girl to go on and have higher education. So I had that pressure on my shoulders like you wouldn't believe. That was a huge pressure. There was no room for failure, none. My dad, from as long as I can remember, he was the type of dad that if I would come home with a 99%, happy and beaming and thrilled with those sort of results, he would grab the paper, look at it, then look up at me and go, okay, so where's the other 1%? Like, yeah, that's how I grew up with. So you can imagine that by the time I got to high school, the pressure that I was under. But my chemistry teacher, Mr. Meinhold, it was really nice. Both I had him for chemistry, and his wife was also a teacher, and she took English. And in 1 year, I remember I had her for English as well. So I had both husband and wife, and had both completely different ways of teaching too, which was really interesting. But anyway, I digress. Mr. Meinhold took me under his wing in the sense of he would spend extra time and he tutored me. Well, when I say tutored, it's not that he gave me any extra consideration. My marks were what they were. I mean, you can't hide from your marks on an exam or whatever. But when I said to him I'm struggling with A, B, C, D and everything else, he really helped me a lot. And and it helped me in the sense because I was struggling with home life as well, because back then living on a farm. I was getting through my year 12. I was helping my parents physically work the farm. I was also, being the eldest, having to look after my siblings. And when I say look after my siblings, I was pretty much playing parent full on. Like, I was doing the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, the everything. And I wouldn't start my homework until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. By which case you can imagine how exhausted I am by that stage. But anyway, again, I digress. And I had a bit of a breakdown at school when it came to chemistry, because it doesn't matter how much I was trying, I wasn't getting anywhere. And then, of course, Mr. Meinhold saw what was going on, and he took me aside because, after class I'd gotten a really, unsatisfactory mark in an exam or a project or something, and we sat and we talked about it, and he said to me, all right, he goes, there's crying about it's not going to help. What are we going to do to help, to get over this? And that's where him helping me with some extra tutorial, if you will, came in. Now we get to the fun stuff, and we get to play with all the big gems, because I've done all the little ones. Yay. All right, let's go with... I was doing these in some sort of order. Sorry. I know I've broken the story, but... All right, and this is where I'm using this pen here, which has got a... Oh, it's not going to... Focus. It's not going to focus. There you go. It's got a wax tip. And he gave me, he didn't give me any free passes or anything like that. No. It wasn't about that. What he gave me was something that cannot be, as a teacher, you've either got it or you don't. Okay. And he gave me belief. He gave me the belief within myself that I could do it. And he said to me, just do the best you can. I saw an empty one. Where is it? And that's all you can do. And he gave me that belief. He gave me that belief. And I'll never forget it. And I took those words and all the wise words that he said to me throughout his tutelage and all of that, and passed that on down to my kids as they were going through school. How much I appreciated what he did for me is pretty much proven. Well, not proven. No, that's completely the wrong word. How much I appreciated what he did when we went back for my 20th year high school reunion. I went and sought him out. And he was semi-retired back then, and I found out where he lived, out on one of the farms. He had a horse farm, still does, I think, and rocked up and pretty much told him after 20 years that I still to that day attribute my success and a pass in chemistry and in my year 12 to him. He was blown away. He'd been a teacher for so many years. And of course, teachers quite often are very undervalued, or at least the good ones are anyway, and underappreciated and often forgotten. Yeah, they see how many thousands of students in their lifetime. Think about it. think about how many students they see in their lifetime. And a teacher has got the power, so to speak, to either make or break a child, if that makes sense. They can either lift them and encourage them to a point where that child feels like they're invincible and everything is achievable, or they can really destroy them by, dragging them down and belittling them. Oh, that does go there. And belittling them and all of that. So they can really, it goes both ways. To me, there's no real in between. A teacher will either inspire or bring them down. So, but Mr. Meinhold and his wife, they both inspired me. And when I went back and told him, he was in absolute awe that I would be sitting at his kitchen table, letting him know that I had gone on, and although I didn't get into pharmacy, that I had gone on to do medical laboratory science and became a biochemist and still was in the field of science. And I said to him, it was all because of him. And he was almost in tears. And then it doesn't stop there, because when was it? No, it wasn't last year, because we were not going anywhere last year. It must have been the year before. We had our 30-year reunion. 30 years since I left high school. And so I went all the way back up to Swan Hill, and gosh, I love my reunions. I absolutely love my reunions and seeing everyone, because although my earlier high school years were not the best, they ended wonderfully. And I guess, we can catch up on that story another time, but I absolutely love my high school reunions. And so 10 years after having seen Mr. Meinhold, which was at my 20 year, I was determined to go seek him out again. And, we all age. Yeah, we all age. Me, gosh, I've aged. We all age. That's life. You age, right? And when I saw him, I could see, he's fully retired now, enjoying farm life. And when he saw me come, even after 30 years, to come back and once again extend my gratitude, there was tears. There were tears. He wasn't well. I haven't heard anything since. That was a couple of years ago, but he wasn't well back then. But he was just flabbergasted that I would go back. And I thanked him again. And I said to him, the lessons, the life lessons, the things that you taught me that were not specifically even solely to do with chemistry, but just for life in general. I said, I impart them and I use them on a day-to-day basis with my offspring. They come from you. I said, you've helped shape so much of what I do. And that time there were tears. He cried, I cried. It was just a beautiful moment. And he was grateful that a student that he taught 30 years prior would come and say thank you after all that time. So, if you've ever thought to do that for a teacher, if you have someone that influenced you in a positive way at high school, and it's been a while since you've left school, and you have the means to seek that teacher out, I can tell you there is nothing that they would appreciate more. Because like I said, how many, you weren't their only student, and you haven't been their only student, and he absolutely loved hearing what I had gotten up to as far as my work goes, about where the science led me or didn't lead me in the end after 30 years. He was so interested in my family life and what I was doing, and every second sentence was like, I still can't believe you're here. I still can't believe you're here. It is just so beautiful to have you here. And it was sat and had coffee and tea, or coffee and a tea, I can't remember, because I rocked up unexpectedly, so it's not like I went announced or anything. I just wanted it to be a surprise, and it was. And we just chatted and chatted and chatted, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome. So not only did I go back and catch up with the good friends that I had made in my senior years, I was actually very, very blessed to be able to go back and thank once again one of two teachers that I attribute the fact that I was able to get through my senior year in a successful way. So that was awesome. It was really, really awesome. Yeah, so have you got a teacher? Let me know in the comments. Have you got a teacher that has influenced you, or who did influence you in a good way in high school or even primary school? Or are you a teacher yourself? You know, if you're a teacher yourself, thank you. Thank you for what you do. If you are an integration aid or a special aid for those that have additional needs at school, thank you for what you do. I say thank you. I have offspring that are on this spectrum, and you know what? Although I thanked all his teachers and all those aides and everything, they don't get enough thanks. You need to be a special kind of somebody to work with not only students but those that have additional needs. Trust me, you do. So tell me in the comments below, what's your favorite, I can't get this diamond out, teacher, and have you gone back and have you seen them since? Conversely, I mean, I don't want to turn it into a negative something here, but I mean, just as, I can't believe I might have to open these up. I think I will. Just as people have good experiences, people also have bad experiences. So it goes both ways. Of course it does. I think I overestimated how many I need in here. Yeah, but I'll never forget. Never ever forget. And I've told my kids that story many, many times. And now I get to share it with all you guys. I took some photos. I won't put them up here because it's not my place to share photos of other people that without their permission. But I took photos at the reunion with them. Or when I went up there they didn't come to the reunion, but I took photos of them with them, beg my pardon, when I went up, which was super special. I'll always treasure them. Always treasure. Oh, I just bumped you. We're on the home stretch, guys. We are literally on the home stretch. Not many more to go at all. My head is completely thumping. Completely thumping. What have we covered? We've covered Grace's knocking on the head today. Grace's knocking on the head at school. Grace being left at the wrong bus stop. Well, to be fair, I did ask to be left, but, you know, still. Still. There are so many school stories that I can share with you, and I will over time. At this moment, my goal is to finish this, which I'm super excited about. I'm nearly there. Put a load of washing on. I've got to get rid of the rubbish that's still on the floor next to me from the sorting out of my budget stash, which I'm so glad I finally did. I was almost going to use portfolios and this and that and everything else, but it just made more sense. What I did is I grabbed all my coats and things that are in there that I don't wear anymore, not because of anything, but, you know, often I don't fit into them. So they're all been put in those vacuum bags, and I'll store them under my bed and utilize that space for my diamond paintings. Yay! Love that for me. All right. Oh my gosh, we're nearly there. Are you excited for me? I'm excited for me. I am so excited for me. We got heaps and heaps and heaps of these diamonds left over, that's for sure. I knew that opening this second bag was going to be, it's going to, like, look how many I've got left over. Oh, you can't see. Look, that's left over. Oh my gosh. All right, what's the next one are we going to do? We'll do the C, which is for these big gold ones. The colour of my mum and dad's Statesman. They were so proud of that Statesman. It was a 1970 something, and it was a Statesman DeVille. Like, it was a high-end one for the day, I should say. And they took it up to the farm. They were so proud of it when they had it here in Melbourne, because they moved up to the farm from Melbourne. City folk, city slickers, didn't have a clue about farming, but they learnt. They learnt with help from friends and so on. And they took up the this Statesman up there. And by the time that Statesman saw the end of its day, because up where Swan Hill is, it's a they're on salt plains, and they thrashed the crap out of that Statesman, let me just say that. And the boot rusted out, the side panels were rusted out, it was just a hot mess. They ran it literally into the ground. Yeah. And then they ended up buying what's typically known today as a mum van until they moved down here to Melbourne. But that mum van, geez, even that saw its fair share of thrashing. Well, you're on a farm, you know. Just seeing the odd little one poking up at me. Nearly there, guys. You're going to stick with me to the end. Oh. You're going to stick with me to the end. Whilst it's sunshine outside, I might even do a bit of footage outside and show you the glistening outside. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. My head. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. I'm looking for O, which is 8. It's been a real pleasure to work on this, I've got to say. It really has. And it's, I mean, this is my first, I don't think this is a mandala. Is this a mandala? Is this what you call a mandala? Is it? I don't know. What's the definition of a mandala? I've got to look that up. I really should look that up. In any case, it's my first one. So this, yeah, it's my first one, so I'm really happy with it. And it's been pretty cool because it's been pretty much symmetrical. So what goes on in one leaf or in one section is repeated around. Now, I guess, you know, for a bit of a post review, I did have some trashy drills. The symbols have been pretty clear to read. That's not been an issue. And some of them have been where the outside of these bigger ones, if you're not exact, I haven't been exact. Oh my gosh, why are you not in focus? Oh wow, I'm so sorry, peeps. But some of these ones, like see these bigger ones here, where's that? See that shadow? I have not been exact. I just wanted to get them out, because at the end of the day, when this is up on a frame, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to see that. So let's do it, guys. Let's do the last bit. Let's bring you all the way in. We're down. Oh, I've got one more to put here. And then I've got this, and then one more, and we're done. Oh my gosh. How excitables. I loaded up. No, I didn't load a video up today. I did my live today. I wasn't going to load up a video today, but I might load this one up just for something different. And a catch up. And I'm so glad that this is done. I should hopefully be able to find a 60 by 60 frame. Actually, I should measure this. It was 60 by 60 or... Anyway, let's lay the last diamond together, shall we? It's the last one. It's the letter A, which is number 3, which is this one here. You ready? Here it is, the last one. Unless, of course, I've missed any. But there it is. Voila! Yay! Lots and lots of leftovers. Let's do a real quick post review. Lots and lots of leftovers, which I will be storing away with all my other special diamonds. You can see here, lots and lots. Not an issue whatsoever. Even, oh gosh, really gosh. Got some blue ones there. They're the tiny green teardrops. Come on, focus, you silly bugger. See that? And we've got blue ones here. Gold crystals. Silver ones, but then I've got a whole another bag here. I'm not even going to open that bag. I'm going to put that away. But there's beautiful bronzy ones here, and then silver marquees here. There's big gold buttons. I like these. These big gold buttons. Yep, lots and lots. All right, guys. So I'm going to take this outside. And oh, see, look, you didn't tell. Oh, it's not finished. Oh, goodness gracious! I've got 3 to go here. Look, let me have a look. Here we go. F is 6. I've thrown all these in like a hot mess over here now. Ah. I didn't think I would need them anymore. That's because my head is thumping. Oy vey. I knew that would happen though. And trash wise, I'll show you those in a second too. E is 5. I might not need to take it outside. I'll just go put it near the window where there's better sunlight. Trash wise, where's my bin gone? Yeah. I'll put it out here. Look, to me it was a lot of trash. To me it was. Oh, it's not even coming out. They're all stuck in there. But a lot of them were these Come on, you. Oh, hot mess. Oh, look, there's a few left in there. There's a few left in there, right? But the majority of the trash, there's like literally trash. Like there's, you know, big chunks of goodness knows what that is, right? That's gone wrong, and then those things. But the majority of the trash is where the silver backing has come off and they became translucent and I wasn't liking them. So that's the majority of the trash that was in there. Bit of a knobbly bit on that one. I wasn't too fussy with them. But like I said, I've got heaps left over. So I am going to take you out of the cradle and take this over there to the table where there's better natural light, and I'll be back with you. All right, guys, she is finished. Finished. I don't know. Can you see the shine, the glisten? Probably not, because I didn't take it outside, but the canvas itself has got a beautiful glisten to it as well. But you can see on that angle, oh, perfect. Look at that shine. And that's right through. Unfortunately, doing a video like this doesn't do it justice. But it is quite sparkly. Quite sparkly. And I know I've got my microphone off, so I'm going to be sounding different. But it is 60 by 60. I just measured it. I think it's 54 by 54 around. So I am really looking forward to getting this framed. But it's very blingy. Very blingy, as you can see. So I guess I will leave it at that. And thank you so much for joining me on this Whip and Chat. I will see you all next time. I'll see you next time. But wherever you are in your part of the world, thank you so much for joining me today. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Have an amazing rest of your day. An amazing rest of your week. Okay? And until my next video, sending you all much love. And ciao for now.